Hello, this is a quick video tutorial on how my songwriting partner Norm and I recorded a quick demo of Heroes by David Bowie. I'm a very mediocre guitarist, but I wanted to try and get the best out of this song. We do it live occasionally, just acoustic guitar and voice, so I wanted to kind of emulate that on a recording. So what I used on this for this recording is this guitar, which is an electroacoustic guitar. I used a tambourine like that. I used this effect from Zoom, and a microphone, and I plugged everything through this, which basically converts analog audio signals into digital signals so that you can put them straight into your computer. And I also used a bit of software called Cakewalk, which I'll go through shortly. This is not a professional video, as you can probably tell. I'm not one of these gurus who knows everything about kind of recording. I've just done it my way. And I just kind of walk you through the steps of what I did to record it. Basically mostly using the software because it's quite complicated, or it is to me, and I'm still learning as I go along. So without further ado, we'll go on to the software. Okay, the recording software I used to create the song, the demo song, is called Cakewalk by Bandlab. If you just Google Cakewalk by Bandlab, then it'll come up on Google. It's a free download, great software, just a little complicated for my taste, but this shows you how to kind of generally use it. So once you've downloaded the software, basically you need to set it up a little bit. You'll find lots of videos on setting up Cakewalk online. Just Google setting up Cakewalk in Google and just set it up generally. Once you've done that, you can open up Cakewalk, and what I did for this particular track is I opened an empty project, which is there, and the first thing I did was, you get presented with a screen similar to this. Okay, and this is where your tracks are all going to be. The easiest way to put a track in or start recording something is to press plus up here. Okay, the instruments I use are all audio instruments, and remember I'm sending them through a Behringer digital audio interface. Okay, so when you click that, you get this: record, enable, and input monitoring. Input monitoring is basically so you can hear what's going into the track itself. Then press create. Okay, once you've done that, click on the track and rename it whatever you're going to name it. I usually start off with drums, so I might call that drums. This needs to be what is called armed. Okay, you can't record anything unless this is on red. Okay, this just means input echo. It just means that you can hear the signal that you're putting in at the same time. So if you've got headphones on, you'll be able to hear it. If you're singing into a microphone, you'll be able to hear yourself singing into a microphone. Okay, you don't need anything else at the moment. Okay, and so when you want to record that track, you have your drum machine or whatever plugged in, and you press record. It'll start recording the track. I'm not going to do it at the moment because I haven't got anything plugged in, but it'll basically start recording the track, and here you'll see the track starting to record. Okay, at the moment I can hear that the metronome's on, so I forgot to say about that. I tend to turn my metronome off. So if you click on the metronome thingy here, and it clicks the metronome during recording. I don't want that. I don't want it during playback, but I usually have a counting of a few measures. So a couple of measures, maybe that, like that. And then I will apply and press close. Okay. So now when I press record, it stops. It just counts the two measures. I don't know if you heard that, but it's quite quiet. And then there is no metronome. And if the drums were in here, they'd be recording in this track. And you'll see in a minute where I've put drums into a track. Okay, and that's basically how you open up a new project and start recording, roughly. When you want to stop recording, press stop. Okay, to add another track, you put plus, so you can add as many tracks as you want. Name them all. It's better to name them as you go along. Okay. To record on this track and not on the first track, you unclick these, and basically you're recording on this track next time you press plus. Next time you press this button here. Okay, that's roughly how you do it. I would encourage you to save as, so basically save and give your project a name. Okay, you're not saving it as a MP3, you're saving it as a project file, but press save as, and then you would put a file name down here. Okay, I'm not going to do that because this is just a demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to come out of this now, and I'm going to go to our demonstration song and tell you what I did. Okay, now we've seen what what instruments I used to record the track with. I'm going to show you roughly how I put the track together on a digital audio workstation. This is called Cakewalk and it's free. It's a free digital audio workstation, which is basically a recording studio on your computer. And you can get it for free. Just download it, just search Cakewalk by Bandlab on Google and you'll come across it. It's quite technical and it's a little bit complicated when you first see it, but I'll roughly go through this. So what I'm going to do is split this section into 3 sections: the structure of the song, how I want it to have the structure of the song, some basic editing, and then some of the effects I put on it. So the basic structure of the song on Heroes was, let me see. Yeah, so what I wanted to do was introduce some tambourine and some hand claps first of all. So basically I just did some basic hand claps to the microphone and tambourine to the microphone. So if we go back to our track here, this is all the tracks loaded for the song. So basically I plussed and made a track for each time I wanted to record a new instrument. So that included hand claps and tambourines. So hand claps I've got here. So if I just play the hand claps now, something like that. Okay, and then I wanted some tambourines. I'm just going to mute hand claps by pressing this button here, and then unmute the tambourines. So you get tambourines here. Sorry, I've still got the hand claps going on somewhere. Mute them, just the tambourines. Now you notice on a lot of these tracks I've got effects going on, so I'm going to go through the effects right at the end of this quick overview. Okay, so basically I started off with hand claps and tambourines. So tambourines, I'll put them back in, and hand claps. Okay, and so what I ended up with is this kind of thing at the beginning. And what I did also is I had drums going on as well, so I recorded some drum machine and I could hear them from my headphones. So I basically got a drums track, and I could hear the drums through my headphones, so that kept the hand claps in time and also the tambourine in time. So that's how I basically did it. And I also left the drums on at the same time. So at the beginning I got drums, hand claps and tambourines, and then over that I recorded the first acoustic guitar. So if I play this now, I've edited it since, so you'll only hear the hand claps and tambourines, and then the acoustic guitar will come in. So if we do that. Let's try that again, but I'll unmute the acoustic guitar. Sorry about that. So basically, started off with hand claps and tambourine and drums. Later on I edit the drums out, but I'll go over that later on. And acoustic guitar. Once I'd done that, I came over to here to File and then exported. So I went to Export, exported the audio as an MP3 file, and then I sent it over to Norman, who was going to do the vocals, just to give him an idea of what it sounds like. So that's basically what I did. So he could have an idea of what it sounded like with the hand claps, with the tambourine, with the drums, and just the acoustic guitar. So it gives him an idea. Then when he comes around to my house later on, he's got an idea what the song sounds like. Okay, I'm not going to export that now, but basically it's straightforward. You just save it as a normal file, MP3 file. Okay. So, a few days later, Norman's had the MP3 file with the guitar and drums and hand claps and everything like that, and he comes in to record the vocals. So I record several versions of Norm's vocals, but I actually just use two versions which are very close together, so they sound okay recording them and basically using both of them at the same time. Okay. I also record some backing vocals for Norman and some backing vocals for myself, but I didn't use them. Okay. So what I did do instead is got a female to sing some backing vocals here and here, and she comes in later in on the track. So now the track's starting to sound a little bit more like it should do. So this probably, we're going to get some guitar here, we're going to get hand claps, we're going to get tambourine, and we're going to start getting some vocals.
We can be heroes, and just one.
Still start sounding a bit sparse. What I was interested in is building it up as I go along. So normally we'd do this in an acoustic song, and what I wanted to do is kind of, and we build it when we play it live as an acoustic song, so it gets a bit louder, maybe gets a little bit faster as well. So I wanted to kind of emulate that from that point of view. So to emulate the building of the song, I wanted various things to kind of come in and out. So on the first verse, I had acoustic guitar, it comes in as the vocals come in, and I wanted the hand claps to fade out. On the second verse where it says "I will be king," I wanted the hand claps to come back in, so it gave it more of a beat. So if you listen to the final track, you'll hear that come in. And on the third verse where it says "I can remember," I wanted to drop the hand claps, I wanted to drop the tambourines, because I wanted to bring in extra distorted guitar and extra drums instead of the hand claps and the tambourine. So when they drop out, I've got extra distorted guitar, a little bit distorted guitar, extra drums just to raise it up a little bit. I also put an extra vocal track on. So if I add those now, so we have got, so I'm going to add in that extra guitar, extra drums, extra vocals, and I'm editing the claps so they drop out. Okay, so now what we've got, the tracks that are live at the moment is the original drums. They start a bit later in the track. Sorry, those ones. They start later in the track and they finish early, but we'll go into that. And then you have acoustic guitar, which goes more or less through the whole of the track. Then I've got electric guitar, a bit distorted, that comes in. And then some more drums which come in at about halfway through on that third verse, just to boost the track up. Okay. And then we've got Norman's vocals 1 and 2, and then extra vocals, but only come in at that point. Okay. And then we've got the tambourines, but they're going to finish. The hand claps, they're going to finish. And the female vocals. Okay. So if we play that from that point. Let's play it a little bit further along. So here you've got the drums haven't started yet, but if I play it from here, sorry, the drums have started there. The extra drums haven't kicked in yet, but they will do in a minute. Sorry, that's what I meant. Now after this next line, extra distorted guitar, extra drums, extra vocals, and the hand claps and tambourines will drop out. There we are. And then the backing vocals come in. Okay, so that's basically how I structured the song. After the refrain where it says, and the shame was on the other side and we could beat them forever and ever, then we can be heroes for one day. There's quite a gap there. So what I do is I fade in and out a wah-wah guitar effect. I'll show you that later on. And at the end of the song, after the final choruses, I fade all the instruments out, leaving only the vocal. So again, I'll go through that in the next part. Okay, now that we've looked at the basic structure of the song of Heroes, I'm going to go through some of the basic editing I did. If you listen to the song later, I'll provide a link to SoundCloud for it. If you listen to the whole song, you'll see where I've cut out parts of guitar, added effects, that type of thing. So what I'm going to do now is kind of show you some of the stuff I did on that. Not all of it, because it's quite a long-winded process. So what I'll do, first of all, often on parts of the song, I copied bits of the guitar. So I only played guitar once, and that was rhythm guitar. So I just played rhythm guitar once, and then I chopped that up and added effects to those bits of guitar to kind of make them stand out in the song, which you can hear if you play it on SoundCloud. So what I'll do is I'm going to copy a track. So I'm going to take this acoustic guitar track, which is my basic acoustic guitar track, and I'm going to copy that track. Okay, so to copy a track, if I take this one, so if I hover on the track here where it says 3, that's track 3, and then I press my right hand mouse button and I go down to duplicate track. Okay, now if I duplicate that track now, if I just press OK, it'll duplicate everything, but it won't duplicate the music. It'll duplicate the effects and all that sort of thing that I've got stuck in there. But I want it to duplicate the music as well, so you got to click on Events. Okay, so I'm clicking on Events, I'll press OK. And that has duplicated that track. Okay, so you've got my original one here, number 3, and then you've got my copy here. So I'm going to just put this as a demo guitar. I'm going to change the name of it so I don't get confused. Okay, so that track is the track we're going to work on. So demo guitar, which is track 4. I'm just going to close up the other tracks a little bit so it's not so confusing to look at. You can do this on this particular software. Make that stretch out a little bit. You just go down to the bottom there until you get 2 double lines and a couple of arrows, and then you can push everything together so you can see all your tracks in one area and you're not seeing all the detail there. Okay, or it's a little bit better. So basically we're working on, I'll make it a bit wider, this track here. So I've made it nice and fat so you can see the kind of, this is the music here. So when you're working on a track, this one, as I mentioned before, means mute. So basically if I mute this track won't play, but the other tracks will play that are unmuted. So that would play. That would play. That wouldn't play because it's muted. You've also got this one, which stands for solo, so S for solo. So if I just press S and highlight that, it's only going to play this track. So if I play that now, so all I've got is that track that I copied across there at the moment. Okay, so remember working on track 4, and I've got it on solo at the moment. So let's just kind of skip to the beginning of the song, a little bit along where the guitar comes in. Okay, so first of all let's get rid of these effects. So I'll put them back in a minute, but let's for now just get rid of them. So just click on the effect, that's right click on the effect and click delete. And right click on the effect and click delete. Okay, so this is what my original guitar sounded like without any effects on. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this track, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how to cut the track and how to basically put some effects on it and that type of thing. Okay, so say for instance our track starts roughly, let's see where it starts. It's going to start in a second. There it starts. So if I pause just before it starts, so say I don't want it to start at this point here, okay? I want it to start at this point here, for instance, okay? Easiest way to do that is to put your cursor on this track line here, so where the music is, and you see it's a little eye shape, the cursor, okay? Click on that, and then left click, and then drag across, okay? And then press your delete button. Now that deletes that. So now when we play, it's going to come in then. Okay. So that helps us if we just want to kind of put a little bit in. So say for instance we, I don't know if you'll hear it very well. Yeah, so say for instance we want to boost the guitar. At that point, that's where we would cut. Now the other thing we want you'll hear on the recording is it doesn't bluntly come in like that. Okay, what I tend to do is fade in, so I tend to do a quick fade in. Okay, so now I say I want to fade in this particular track at this point. So I don't want it to start like this. I want it to start at a much smoother kind of rate and fade in as it comes along. So let's just get to that again, where it starts. There. Okay, so I've stopped it there. So with your cursor, float around this left hand side until you get this symbol, which is like an upward slope. Okay. When you get that, click on your left hand mouse button and drag this line here. So the longer you drag that line, the longer your fading will be. And as you can see here, at the beginning of the where the music starts, it thins out to nothing, and then it gets fatter and fatter. So basically the volume of the music is going up. So I'm going to leave that there. So what we should have is a fade in between here and here. Okay, so if I play that now, okay, so that faded in. So now we've chopped off a little bit of our guitar. We've also got a fade in, which will start in a second here. So I'm just going to do that. So that fade in now. Okay. So if this is one of the pieces of guitar I'm wanting to edit and put into the song, I'm not sure if you're supposed to do it this way, but it's the way I do it. Then this is what I do. So what I'll do is I'm gonna cut some more here. So as we cut before, so basically your left mouse button, and then drag across. I'm going to drag right to the end now. Just keep on dragging right to the end of the track. So I've only got a little sample of music to work with. So keep on dragging that. I'm sure there's a quicker way of doing this, but I don't know off the top of my head. So I do it the old-fashioned way. Keep on dragging. Keep on dragging until I get to the end of the music. For this particular, we're only working on this track 4, remember. Okay, and then press delete. Okay, so what that should have done now, if I go back to the beginning, so we're at the beginning of the track, you've got a fade in, which will come up in a second. And then it'll stop abruptly. Okay, there, because I've deleted the rest of the track. Okay, so what I want to do on this one, I'm going to fade it out. Okay, so it's the same thing at this side. So you hover your cursor on this side at the end until it becomes this little triangular shape, and then drag. Okay, so I'm going to fade out like that. Okay, let go of your mouse button, and basically that sticks it in. So now we have got a fade in, which is coming up, and a fade out almost immediately. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use that little bit of track there to demonstrate our effects. Okay, so on the original guitar I had two effects running on that, TH3 and TDR Nova. To stick an effects on a track is quite easy. Basically you need something. If you go over here, it varies, it might differ what you're seeing on your screen, but basically you need plugins open and effects. Okay, insert audio effects, and the effects I tend to use are a graphic equalizer, and I use TD Nova. Okay, TDR Nova. And so to put an effect on a track, you just find it here. These are all on your hard drive, so basically these are folders. Click on the effect and drag it over, okay, and place it on the effect there. Okay, that'll open the effect. Okay, so you now got an open window. You can't see it very well because it's black on black. Okay, and you can mess about with the graphic equalization of this. And to be honest, I don't mess around too much with it. What I do is I do a high pass and a low pass frequency slope. Basically this just cleans up the track. I won't go into technicalities because I don't really understand them, but it does certainly clean up the track. So what I do is I click on this one and you get a downward curve here, and I click on this one and you get a downward curve there. Okay, that's it. Just close the effect and it's done. Okay, so that effect's there. If you ever need to open it again, just click on it. There it is. Okay, so that effect will now take shape. You probably won't notice much difference if I play it, but let's play it anyway. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter, so it's cleaned it up a little bit. Okay. The other effect I've used on this one is TH3, which is a guitar effect. Okay. So I could drag that over there, but you can actually drag effects from other tracks as well. And if those effects have already got settings in, which this one has, you keep those settings. So this is like a guitar amp emulator. So basically it's like playing a guitar through a different amp or a different set of effects. So you can set it up any way you want to. I'll show you in a minute. But I've already set it up on my first track. So I'm going to, instead of dragging it from over here and resetting it all up, I'm just going to drag it all over from here and set it and have it on this track as well. So to do that, to move an effect, you just click on it with your left hand mouse button and just drag it down. So I could drag it down to this one, and that's moved it. But I didn't want to move it particularly, I just wanted to copy it. So let me just move it back. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it this time. So I want to copy the TH3 effect down onto this track. Yeah, so to move that, to copy that effect and not move it, just to copy it, you hover on it, press down your control key, left hand mouse button, hold that down and drag. Okay. Wait for it to catch up. Okay. So now we have, on our demo guitar track, we have two effects. Okay. And if we click into, just click on the TH3, double click on that, and it opens it. Again, you can't really see it that well because all of these, I think I've opened it twice now. Let me just click on it again. Yeah, you can't see it that well because it's black on a black background. Okay. But what you have here is you have a lot of presets. So basically effects. So if you want to change the effect of a guitar, at the moment the guitar is going to sound like this. Okay, so I think from memory I've got some. So you've got five banks of sounds which you can pick from here, and then you have some presets underneath them. So you click on a bank of sound, it gives you a load of presets which you can pick things from. So I'm pretty sure that I'm on something called Dreamy Codes or something like that at the moment on this particular one. But say we wanted to change the sound of that guitar completely. So let's call it, we go to airy codes, I think it's on at the moment. So what we'll change it to is 70s rock lead. Okay, so instead of airy codes, which we're playing at the moment, which sounds like this, we're going to change it to rock lead. Okay, so if I click on that one, overwrite airy codes, and now when I play it, yeah, so a lot harder. Okay, I'm going to go back to airy codes. I'll leave it at that. But that's basically what you can do with that. So you just need to play around with it, to be quite honest. But you can do that. Okay. You have other useful effects that you can stick onto your tracks. So, for instance, on a vocal track. So I've got Gnome's vocal track here. I've got TD Nova, which is the equalizer effect, and again I put the low pass and high pass on that. If I click on that, you'll see there it is. Okay, that's to clean up his vocals. But I've also put reverb on there. So reverb gives a bit more depth to the vocal, and if I click on that effect here, you can see it kind of gives the same kind of thing. You've got a bank, and then you got some presets. So at the moment, the vocals, I'm affecting Norm's vocals with, it sounds like it should be in a room, and it's a bright dream room, whatever that means. But basically, it gives you an effect. So if you wanted to kind of change it to a hall and make it really, really big sounding noise, then you could do that as well. So again, this works exactly the same as the guitar one I just showed you. You just need to play around with it from that point of view. And again, if you wanted to, say for instance, we wanted to put some reverb on our guitar, I just copy that across to there, like that. And now I've copied it, I haven't moved it. And it will change again, so I'll put reverb on it now. Okay, so you can add as many effects as you want to, really. We have a wah-wah pedal, so the parts of the song I use a wah-wah pedal. You'll hear that as well if I copy that over Stick that on that bit of effect there. Okay, and play that. Okay, if you don't like an effect, just click on the effect. Right click on the effect and just click delete. Okay, so I didn't like the wah wah, that's gone. Okay, it's still where I got it from because I copied it, I didn't move it. Okay, so that's how you do general cutting and pasting and editing from that point of view. Okay, the final step I took in recording this little song, after editing it, organising the track structure, putting some effects on, and cutting and pasting it, was to balance it. So at the moment you've got all your tracks, and if you've recorded them, they may be out of balance. In other words, some will be louder than others. I didn't want to do anything fancy on this, so basically the way to do that would be to go to, you need to balance your tracks. So if you go to preferences up here, wrong one, sorry about that. So to balance your tracks you need to go to views and make sure that you can see the console view. So if you click on that, your console view should appear somewhere on your screen. It might vary from mine to yours. Okay, and what this basically does is it gives you all your tracks. So if we just go down there a little bit. So here in the console panel we can see all our tracks. So drums, acoustic guitar, and our demo guitar, the one we've been working on. Any track you're working on is highlighted. Okay, so, and if you scroll up here, basically the important bit is these sliders here. So you can just ignore these ones after here for now, because I don't really know how to use them. I don't know how to master it, so I didn't master this track. But basically I worked on the tracks that I had here. So I'm just going to move those to one side. So basically it's all these tracks here. So 1 to 17 tracks now, basically. And you've got sliders here, which is basically volume. Okay, so if you want to adjust the volume on any of them, so for instance drums late start, you just slide it up and down by grabbing hold of it with your mouse. Okay, you can also mute from here, so like you mute tracks, or you can solo tracks. So at the moment we've got a solo track, so if I play, we've still got that track soloing. Okay, if I take that off solo and mute it because I don't really want that track on anything, then I play, I get more or less the whole of all the tracks playing that are unmuted. Okay, so if I come across any tracks which are too loud or too quiet, then I can adjust the levels on here until I'm happy with them. So you know, if I wanted to kind of make the drums a little bit quieter, I'd bring them down, acoustic guitar higher, vocals, etc. So basically you can play around with that until you're happy with the situation. Okay. And so there is mastering, but I don't understand mastering yet because I'm still getting my head around this software. So I didn't actually master this track into one track. But what I did do, once I was happy with the sound, so you know, it was all playing nicely, and I was happy with that sound, I just then went up to File. First of all, I saved it to make sure. I save on a regular basis, so always make sure that you're saving tracks regularly. But when you actually want to copy it onto a CD or onto your hard drive, or eventually get it onto SoundCloud, or even put it onto your iPod at some point, then you'll need to export it into some kind of format. And so when you're happy with the sound of your finished song, as we were, or as I was, you've got to export from File, then go across to Audio, click on that, and then you name your song, whatever it is, save it into, it'll save into the audio library in Cakewalk onto your hard drive. Generally, that'll be the main thing. And you can save it as several types of file, either an MP3 player, which will play just about anywhere, or you might save it as a WAV file, which will give you a bit more quality. So there. I think on SoundCloud, when I finally saved this, I think I saved it as a WAV file and put it on SoundCloud to try and keep the quality as high as possible. Okay, when you've put your file name in, you just press export and just follow the instructions to kind of save it. Then there's one more screen, I think, and you just click. Let me just check on that anyway. So say for instance this is our demo. I want to export it completely. Yeah, so export options, and you just press OK, and off it goes and exports it. I'm not going to do that now because it just takes up space on my hard drive, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, and that's it. That's basically how it's done. If this was, hope this was useful for you. It's not very slick presentation, but it's more or less what I did to record our version of Heroes. My name's Steve. Our group is called 7 Alleys, and you'll find the full version of this song on SoundCloud. I'll provide a link to that so you can click on that if you want to listen to actually what it sounded like in the end. Okay, and I hope you have a lot of luck using this software. Thank you.